Here we are. It's a beautiful day in the world of Warcraft. Welcome back to the WoW Completionist Challenge. It has been some time. I actually built a new computer, new PC build. So there was some delay there, and I'm busy with work stuff too, and everything else that goes on in life. But I'm excited to announce that we are back with the WoW Completionist Challenge. For those joining us for the first time, we are working through each zone, starting from Teldrassil on this Night Elf character, and trying to complete it to the best of its ability. There are obviously going to be some things that we're not capable of completing in the moment, at this time, at this level, and this expansion journey even. But we've gotten about 95% of Teldrassil done. We got 90% of this zone here done. And now we have spun the wheel. If you look at our map here, we were here achieving a lot of great and amazing things. Starting at Teldrassil, moving into Darkshore. We spun the wheel. We could have had Felwood. We could have had Ashenvale. We could have had Azure Missile. But instead we got Moonglade. A couple of challenges with Moonglade. One, there is a rare here. I don't believe there's a lot of quests, but there is some battle petting that we may need to do, and my concern is that our battle pets won't be at the appropriate level. So we're gonna go check out Moonglade, see what Moonglade is all about, and hopefully get ourselves into a position. You can see Darkshore 94% completed, guys. That's no joke. But hopefully get ourselves into a position in that zone where we can potentially even close it out today. Just a quick little pit stop in Moonglade before moving on to bigger and better things. The reason why we're on this journey, the reason why we're doing this challenge, is to reconnect with the retail version of the game. I found myself wanting a little bit more out of my World of Warcraft experience. I've been playing since 2007. Had a lot of great memories in World of Warcraft, and some incredible friends in World of Warcraft. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I have found myself feeling a little bit impermanent with the work that I was doing in World of Warcraft. And what I mean by that is I am playing the classic versions of the game. They're going through their updates. Is the new TBC version of the game going to include Wrath next? Is it then going to go to Kata after that? And all those things that you kind of think through. And that doesn't really interest me very much. And I think there's something to be said, and I'm not the only one, and I've said this before and I'll continue to say it, that I think that we as WoW players want to love the retail version and have gone back to the classic version because it's not scratching that itch. So in an attempt to reconnect with the game, to experience these zones that these artists put some time, effort, and energy into, I am doing this challenge and taking things slowly. You'll see the thing that's plagued us for a really long time, the deer. We have actually completed this deer. You can see in this window here, the deer itself has been done. There is a check mark, but for some reason it will not count as us loving the deer. I can't figure out why. But it won't do it. We do also have the ironwood lumber that you can see down here, so it understands that. There is the raw greater sagefish that we may need. One thing I should check out, since I do have a new PC, is I should check if I turned off the expansion filters. I did not. We have no reason to include WoW Midnight. Actually, the challenge is that some of these things trickle down into the game. Like Legion class order hall, we don't care about, right? But some of these rares were not added until the War Within or Dragonflight, and we want to make sure that those are captured. I think I'll leave all this the way it is. I'm going to remove Legion because class order hall stuff for druids is obviously going to be a big thing, but we're not engaging with that content yet. We're not there. The other thing that we have done with this is we turned off seasonal events and heirlooms. We don't care about heirlooms. Seasonal events we have turned off. Okay, perfect. So the challenge that we have with where are we going to start, right, is it looks like battle pets. It looks like we need to find a silky moth. But our current team of pets here, Darkshore Cub, Blip, and Withers, are not high enough. So what we should probably do is see what level these moths are actually going to be. And I believe I can actually track pets if I'm a good boy. Track some pets and see what level these guys are at. 16 is really high for us. I think we're going to get clapped if we do that. Now, what is flying weak to? Bolt. Okay, so aquatic is weak against flying. Do I have any pets around that level? I've never interacted with this battle pet system, so like I've got this infinite whelpling at level 13. It's not really strong enough to like kill, right? Oh, but he's weak. This might be the vibe, guys. So we're gonna set favorites for these because we don't want to lose them. We're gonna level them up a little bit using this infinite whelpling. So we're gonna put Blip in spot 1, and then there's also squirrels here, but let's avoid any stupidity if possible. Okay, we're gonna switch to the infinite whelpling. Looks like they're weak to beast abilities. Deals double damage. Okay, so I'm gonna strike second, so it's gonna deal more damage for sure. Still not a lot of damage. And this moth does a lot of damage. My lord. Can I heal? Okay. How does it constitute low health, you think, guys? Is this bolstered? I'm gonna just go with this move one more time. Because I'm striking last anyway, right? We can't capture it here, and I think I'll still get experience, so... Oh, I got a crit! And I missed. That's not good. Do we go for the kill, or we trap? I think we get killed no matter what, yeah. Let's put our boy Blip in. Trap him, you gotta live, Blip. Oh, that does a lot of damage. Oh, boys. Not good, boys. The forfeit may be coming. Withers, we need you, brother. Okay, we're clearly not going to catch this guy. We just need 2 hits. Oh, Withers! Could he do it? Oh my god. Dude, Withers is a champ! Holy shit. Holy shit, Withers. Oh, there's 2 of them? Nah. Nah. I did not realize there could be multiple of them. Where do I even heal my battle pets, guys? I know nothing about this system. I'm an embarrassment to the local economy. There's like a girl around here? Or can you heal my people? How do I even fight you? How do I begin my battle pet journey? You guys think? Because I can't talk to her. So like, it says I could do it as part of the quest. She also doesn't sell me anything. Maybe this is just not the right time to be here. Maybe I'm in the wrong zone, everyone. How do I heal my battle pets? There's a quest here, but this is for Cataclysm.
Be with you.
Are we just in the wrong zone? Is that what we're dealing with here, guys? Shadowfang Keep? The Molten Front? Island Expeditions? This just doesn't really seem like where we need to be. I'm not gonna lie to you. And that's just me not trying to get out of... That's not me trying to get out of going to Moonglade. I just don't really know how relevant it is to what we're able to accomplish right now, given its relevance in Cataclysm, the level of the battle pets, and all of that fun stuff. What is your quest? Do you have a quest for me that's interesting?
Be with you. Greetings.
Cenarian Circle is pleased with your progress. This is a Shadowfang Keep quest, which I guess is technically
What brings you here?
Blackrock Depths. Okay, so these are quests that we would do at later levels. Let's get the flight path. Not being very useful right now, I can tell. Sorry, everyone. Should have done a little investigation before we just started jumping right in. I really thought the zone would have like a little quest chain or something for lower levels, but I guess there is no way for lower levels to interact with this content because they can't fly here. The only ones who can get here at this point in the game are the druids. So let's scrap this. Let's respin the wheel.
What brings you?
And figure out what zones we even need to have on the wheel. So we're going to be a little boring for a second here. Because I wasn't prepared for this, to be honest. Come on. Let's think. Okay, so we've got Azure Mist Isle. We got Azure Mist. Is it Azure Mist or Azure Mist? It is Azure Mist. Of course it is. Then we've got Ashen Vale, which we are excited about. Fellwood is also an option. Now, the difference between Fellwood and Moonglade is that Fellwood will have Cataclysm low-level quests that aren't related to Hygel, because we're trying to stay in the classic zones first, right? That aren't related to Hygel. It will have really high-level battle pets still, which will be a problem, but we can address that. We'll just have to grind. But it will have a quest chain for us to work through, and it will have rare spawns, unlike Moonglade, which has no rare spawns. And it also won't have dungeon quests that take us halfway across the freaking continent. Okay, so we've got Azure Mist, Ashen Vale, Fellwood. Are those our only three options? That appears to be the case. Okay, so let's do this. I'm not gonna do this in a vacuum. I'm gonna actually support you guys here. So let me just get it up. Okay, there's our spinner. You can see our spinner, which I know you can. We've got our 3 entries. We're gonna spin it a few times. Okay, we're going to Azure Mist. This will be fun. This will be fun. Azure Mist. Let's go there. It's actually really not been a long time at all since I was in Azure Mist. I was just there in Burning Crusade pre-patch, doing some leveling. So kind of like my experience on Teldrassil, where it was a zone I was able to experience at its inception. So whatever updates they did to Rare Scanner, I can now see like all of the items that the thing drops. But they have a lot of drops, like these rares. We're only looking for like the unique to them drops, not the like seasoned drops or the drops that can go to anyone. So let's try this. Let's fly to Root Theron. Oh my god! Our hippogriff is bugged. Guys, this is such a common problem. This happens to us every single time. I am interested in investigating... Oh, you know what's also interesting? This. Those are BFA rare. So like Lady Vesperia, we got her dagger, right? So how do we know the difference between... Like, can we filter into like unique to this person's drop table? Because these are not unique to her drop table. These can drop anywhere. I only want to know... their like unique drops are. So we're gonna have to figure that out. But for the time being, we're going to the Exodar. We can actually get this thing kicked off the right way here. 94% on Teldrassil, guys. Absolutely stacked. Don't forget to hydrate. Big. Okay, 27% here. Also, no flying allowed here. Also, let's rebind that. Okay. We're gonna start from the quests that we can get. No flying here is definitely something that we need to keep an eye on. Get some wood. Big. Squirrels, we know them. We've done that. Moongray's fur hide items here from some quests we can get. There's a some herbs that we can herb here. Remember, we have herbalism and mining. Looks like the mobs are still scaling to our level, which is key. We do not have skinning. Okay, that's a quest, so we start here. Good. This is a gray moth. Oh, we didn't heal our pets. He's very low level. So let's just... We're gonna heal on him. Perfect. Oh, that still does a lot of damage, actually. These moths do a ton of damage. Maybe we can coax a level up out of Withers here. I don't even think you got experience for that. Oh my lord, this battle pet thing is quickly devolving, guys. Quickly becoming the worst thing we've ever experienced. Alright. Okay, there's a level. That's big. we're ignoring this cat because we're really just trying to do two things. One, we're trying to get to the quest that we're supposed to be on here, and two, we're trying to find a battle pet person that can heal our battle pets. Like, what have we done? A new ability, Cyclone, huh? I like increasing rejuvenation's duration, a little more healing for ourselves. Cyclone's right here. It's already on our bar. Whoops. Okay, the Exodar. Remember, we're not doing the capital cities. We're not doing the capital cities because there's also no rares here. Very interesting. There's definitely rares here. There's the Blood Elf Bandits. Why would they not be considered a rare spawn, I wonder? Or are the Blood Elf Bandits not here and they're up on Blood Mist? No, they're not. Wait. Okay. We don't have the Blood Elf Bandit mask. Actually, let's check that. That sounds like something that I would have selected for myself. Oh, I have an appearance of the Blood Elf Bandit mask, but I don't have the mask itself. Okay, so this is the main hub for the Exodar, or for the Draenei zone that we're in right now. So let's just find our home.
Be kind to those.
Because that'll be big. And then let's head down this way to where we need to be, which is these two quests all the way down here. We're gonna get to do the really fun quest. So I was leveling Draenei Priest, I think, on retail, and I leveled it up to level 20. And I was trying to level it to 20. I wasn't like doing like a hardcore challenge or anything like that, but I was kind of feeling like, oh, I want to see like how long I can go without dying. Like, it's a priest, like I'll have a lot of health, I'll have a lot of healing, whatever. And my dumbass gets on this quest specifically. Or not this, I haven't even gotten to the quest yet, I don't know what I'm talking about. I get to the quest where you have to learn to talk like a furball. Not paying attention, just jumped off the cliff before I got my wings. Plummeted to my death. Just an absolute waste of space. Okay, so Blood Elf plans. We can't do the crash site quest, can we? Like, there's no way they're gonna let us do these quests in the Almond Vale, right? Like, this is not our zone. It's not our territory. It's crazy that they have lumber, like, right here in their starting zone, where the Night Elves do not. And I wonder if that's because the Night Elf starting zone technically doesn't exist anymore. Because Teldrassil burned down. So if you start in Teldrassil, RIP, brother. You're in a dead zone, technically. Or you're in the past. I guess the better way to describe it is you're in the past. But this zone is not in the past, technically, even though they haven't repaired this crash site in God knows how long. Do you think the next patches of Midnight are going to include Azure Mist and Blood Mist Isle? That would be kind of interesting, right? Like, that could be really interesting. Okay, so it doesn't let me get the quest here. But I still have quests for Blood Elf. This is Almond Vale, right? Yeah, I still have these quests on here as options for me. Which is very interesting. Unless because I'm not tracking low-level quests? Is that why they're not showing up? It is! It is exactly why they're not showing up. What a catch.
Good fortune.
Okay. We'll do this real quick. I didn't realize these guys... Well, these guys are my level. Why is this marked as a low-level quest? This is crazy. Okay, well you find little errors, right? So let's do this thing. Let's do that hockey, as they like to say. Okay. Get some quick cash. I'm pretty sure I missed the quest to kill viral mutations around here, but that's bound properly, so let's click it. Sorry. Gonna die, so that's not good. Okay, there we go. Oh, every time I see the new druid spell animations, I'm in wonder. Certainly in shock. Okay, so we've got our 6 little vials. We can't fly because why would we be able to? We also don't have our AI
The Naru
reading the quest chain working right now. Actually, that is not an upgrade. I don't know why I wore that so
do
quickly.
not lose faith.
And we're positive that this guy's not giving us a quest. I mean, why would he give us a quest? It's this guy wakes up the Draenei, yeah. Tells him that, you know, hey, you're awake. Good luck, kid. There's also the volatile mutations. Volatile mutilations is a crazy way to describe that. That we have right here. These do not give us a lot of experience, so we're not going to see a lot of leveling up during this section here. But at least we can get these quests done. Are there any not collected? Oh, guys, you see, this is why you guys bring me around. Because this. Quick collectibles. All you gotta do is buy them, sell them, boom, mark off 50 appearances right then and there.
I hope you find something useful.
Are they the fanciest? No. Remember, technically, as part of our challenge, we're only targeting leather items, but they're easy wins, so we're just gonna take it, get a little bit of that dopamine early on here, since we've kind of had a slow start to the journey. So far. Today, at least. And it's been so long since we've done this, due to life stuff, so, like, you know, getting the new computer set up, and I had the worst time with my water pump. So, like, I have a water cooler, and the AIO was just not moving. So, like, I installed everything. First, I didn't have a Windows boot drive like an idiot, pre-set up, so I had to rebuild my old computer just like sitting stray on my countertop, and downloaded the Windows boot drive stuff the right way finally. And I forgot that my girlfriend went with that. And once that was done, I got my computer to install properly. Cool beans. That was a whole endeavor. It took me hours. And then, once I got through that experience, I get everything booted up, everything's looking fine, and then I'm having this issue where I can't get my fan, or my CPU to not just work. Which is not good, obviously. And finally, I get it to turn on. I'm like playing around with the BIOS and the fan settings and putting it into different ports on the motherboard. So it works. And then the next time I boot the computer up, it doesn't work again. So I'm thinking maybe it's a power supply issue. I'm hoping it's not a motherboard issue. It doesn't seem to be a motherboard issue because like other fans are working in those ports. And I'm like unplugging fans, thinking maybe it's a power supply issue and there's maybe too many, you know, items plugged in or something. Can't figure it out. I cannot diagnose it whatsoever. Finally. And the thing is, it's working sometimes. That's the most confusing part, is sometimes it's working and sometimes it's not. Like, if I checked right now, sometimes obviously working. My computer would have already shut off if it wasn't. But, you get a little paranoid when it comes to heat in your
Greetings,
CPU.
friend. The Naru have not forgotten.
So anyway, I can't figure this thing out. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, yeah. Does anyone really? And I get it running. Every now and then I'm playing with it. I'm like, oh, I figured out the solution. I got it. And then that will work for a little bit until it doesn't anymore.
Ronakai Christor.
So, I think what is the problem? Because I didn't want to have to order a new pump just for it to not work, right? Oh god, guys, we can't do this. We can't do this. We gotta go heal our guys. So, I think I may have solved the problem. And the problem is that my computer was plugged into a surge protector. And I think that's the problem. Because I have now tested this across a couple of days. This is part of the reason why I wasn't streaming. Tested this across a couple of days and discovered it to work when I boot every time. At least now we're on attempt 5, let's say. And it's worked. So we're living on a prayer that that shift is what was needed to permanently resolve this problem. Now, it's yet to be seen. So I'll hold your breath with it. Otherwise, we'll just have to order a new heatsink, and hopefully that'll fix the pump. But the thing is, when you build out all your parts and you wire them all in there, and like it feels good, it looks good, you really don't want to have to do it all over again. Especially not like that piece, because you install it in there with the motherboard early before all the other wires and everything are being run, and so it just feels bad. It just feels really bad to have to go back in and redo it. So we should have the emitter spare parts defined here. I don't know why my little AI voiceover guy is not working. Let's actually look at the add-ons. Oh. Because Chatty Little NPC is not... All the modules for Chatty Little NPC are not loaded in, maybe? Let's take a look at CurseForge. I wonder if that was even the add-on that was doing it before, to be honest. What is the best AI NPC? Like a quest voiceover. What is this? Voiceover TBC Lich King. Okay. We'll see. For now, we'll just leave it as is. I do enjoy having the little AI voiceover speaking to what's going on in the storyline so that we can pace with it as a group. But for right now, I think we're just going to leave it. We kind of know what the gist of these Draenei zones are, and I can kind of speak to it. I've done them before. So the long and the short of the current Draenei zone that we're in, if you've never done the Amon Vale, is you've crash landed, and by you are a Draenei normally in this story. I'm of course not, but you've crash landed in this area. You're fleeing the Burning Legion, as all. That's what the Draenei are. Draenei stands for exiled ones, for the uninitiated. the naive and gullible, so to speak. And they're fleeing through space, and their ship is damaged in flight, and so they can't go the distance. They can't really go where they want to go, so they end up landing here by chance. And their ship crashes. It's called the Exodar. It's in this zone. It's their capital city. But an offshoot of the Exodar, because typically these Draenei ships, they've got like little sub-ships attached to them or like magically affixed to them. A shard of it flies off and lands in the Amen Vale. That's the crash site right here. That's this big crystal that you see. That's a lot of these crystals that you see over here and over here. These are all a result of the fragments of the ship breaking off and
The
landing
Naru
over
have
here.
not forgotten
Now,
us.
what is
Remain
happening is that these crystals are made of arcane magic.
Arcanon Poro.
They affix arcane energies to them to be able to do this flight travel bonanza. Okay. So what the Draenei are having us investigate is the effects on the local wildlife as a result of this crashing into the world. They don't want to be a negative force in the environment as a result of their crash. Which, of course, as you can see, with everything being named mutated, violently mutated, or volatile mutation, it's too late. They have mutated the wildlife in this area pretty significantly. And so now what we're attempting to do, and that's kind of where we're at in this story. At first we're investigating, this is still an investigation here, but the owl kitten that we just investigated, we are attempting to discover a way to inoculate them, to cure them of their mutation, or to prevent the mutation from being critically damaging to their species. So that's kind of where we're at right now in the storyline. The Draenei are ultimately very kind people. They worship the light. They do have some shamanistic elements to them. And they tend to care about others, despite the fact that they are protective of one another. And that's one of the reasons why they end up here in the first place. For those who aren't aware of the storyline there, when the orcs were corrupted by the Legion in pursuit of the Draenei, who had again crash landed on Draenor. Interesting that it's called Draenor, despite the fact that the Draenei did not originate there. They're fleeing from their traitorous brothers who had been corrupted by the Burning Legion. They land on Draenor, and they do their normal thing that the Draenei do. I believe they intentionally landed on Draenor, so I may be wrong in that it was a crash landing. I think it was an intentional landing on Draenor. They were going to hide out there. So they land on Draenor, they're doing their thing, but the orcs get corrupted and become bloodthirsty, and the Draenei are not really a warring group. As a culture, they're not really about that war. They will protect and they will battle and they will, be armed, but they're not really warlike. So war on a massive scale is not something that you would expect to see them engaging in successfully. And that's what happens is the orcs are like, here we are, and we're gonna absolutely pummel you. And they get pummeled. They get enslaved, captured, sacrificed. A lot of them die. And some of them even become broken as a result. And we will actually see some broken, I believe, in this quest chain at some point. So keep our eyes peeled for that. But broken essentially are Draenei that have been cut off completely from the light and mutated as a result. It's very sad. lot of, actually, now that I think about it, I wonder if there's been any lore about
One wishes to you.
the broken just
Open your
being
heart to
withered
life. Each
versions of the Draenei.
is
We see what happens to the elves. So you see, now we're dispersing this neutralizing agent at this irradiated crystal in the water, so that the local wildlife don't drink that water and get corrupted. See, we're trying to be forced for good here. There's a trend here in all these zones in northeastern Kalimdor. The Night Elves are investigating corruption of the World Tree, trying to cleanse it, you know, helping the Furbolgs cleanse themselves of corruption from Felwood. Here we are in the Draenei zone, also trying to cleanse of corruption. So, but like, these races, the Draenei, the Night Elves, the Blood Elves, obviously kind of by proxy through the Night Elves because they originate under the same species umbrella, are all species that have evolved with access to and immense engagement and interaction with arcane energy. And what we've seen with the Night Elves is when they are removed from their source of power, bad things can happen to them. So the Blood Elves, for example,
Kronakai Christo.
they get cut off from,
The Naru have not forgotten.
or the High Elves, they get cut off from the Well of Eternity. They can wither. They move towards the old gods and try to, you know, free themselves of that. And then the Blood Elves, and the Night Elves, same issue. They kind of get cut off from their sources of energy and things happen to them. The withered in Suramar as a result of not having enough arcane energy like flowing through them, or not being able to interact with enough arcane energy on the day-to-day. The Blood Elves turn to Fel to stave off their mana addiction. And I wonder if maybe this is confirmed somewhere. I'm not a huge expert in the lore, but I wonder if that's what the Broken are. The Broken are simply just Draenei who don't have a source of energy connection, be it through the light or through the arcane. Well, you don't have to cast Fairy Fire on me. Now I can't stealth. Oh, look at this new Fairy Fire effect. I'm perped up. Now I definitely know I can't stealth. Thanks. How would I have known otherwise? Why is this song so repetitive, guys? It's giving me a headache.
We will persevere.
Much better. My God. It's just spreading its repetitiveness in our brain stem. There we go, we're fairy fired once more. Now the fun is really in the rare searching. I'm sure we'll get back to that. But the Blood Elf Scouts are pretty easy to kill. There are Blood Elves here, obviously investigating. And that's where we get our main rivalry, is this Blood Elf Draenei rivalry. We're going to see all throughout these games. The Blood Elves themselves do have a rivalry with the Draenei. We know that. There's arcane energy that both groups tap into. The Blood Elves at this stage in the storyline are like craving it. They are desperate for sources of energy. The Sunwell is not what it once was, and Kael'thas Sunstrider has abandoned them. We don't want to join that guild, do we? No. Kael'thas Sunstrider has abandoned them to Outland to find them a new source of energy. He leans into the Fel eventually. But the Blood Elves themselves are still trying to figure it out. And they're quickly devolving into, you know, mana addiction issues and all the other stuff we just talked about. So, when do you guys think this viewer bot thing really became a thing? But they're actually like kind of persistent, because I had a guy, maybe stream number 2 of this challenge. Oh, this is a good song. We had a guy, I think it was Completionist Challenge episode 2. He like he like joins the chat and like actually like talks to the chat a little bit. And messages me on Discord. Like he's like, hey man, like add me on Discord, like love the content. You know, wanna circle back with you. Keep watching your stuff. I'm like, fine, cool, whatever. He's talking about what he streams with me and all the things, like normal conversations. And then he's like, so anyway, now my stream is like blown up. And that's been a journey for me. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, that's not really a goal of mine. Like, I'm just doing this kind of for myself. It's more fun to like go through this and do this, you know, whether there's an actual audience or not. Speaking to an audience keeps like some of this more mundane completionist stuff a little bit more interesting for me. You know, like we're doing Almond Vale entry zone quests that I've done 100 times. Like I'm not really jazzed up about that. But to, you know, just tell random stories and talk through the game and like to look back on it is fun. So I'm explaining that kind of like my mindset to him. And he's like, yeah, dude, no, cool, man. Like I love that. That's awesome.
Remember the lessons of the
But
past.
if you ever want to blow up,
Good health.
if you ever want to make it a thing,
Arcanon for us.
you should do what I
Blessings
did.
upon you.
And I was like,
Safe.
okay, what'd you do? At this point, now the feelers or the hairs are kind of, the spidey senses are kind of, you know. And he's like, I went to this website and I bought viewers, and that allowed me to get, you know, more exposure, and then actual viewers started to come. And I'm like, dude, what is this deep state internet bullshit? Like, and it's crazy because so I work in property management. I don't actually do the property management myself, but I work for a management firm. And we had this thing happen recently with a competitor entering into one of our markets, and they had like so many Google reviews, like so quickly. Like the property hadn't even had residents move in yet. Their move-in date hadn't even launched. And they've got like hundreds of Google reviews about the property. And there are legitimate Google reviews in that stage of the process, right? They are typically people that are touring, people that are taking calls, vendors that are working with you on like community events. Like for example, maybe you partner with like a crumble cookie or something like that
May your days be long and
host people in the area at the crumble cookie to advertise the site coming on board, and give away free crumble cookies. So the people at those events or the actual crumble cookie like employees or franchisees will comment like great group to work with, whatever, on Google reviews. Okay, hundreds of Google reviews before a single person moves in though is crazy. There are some assets, properties, whatever, that may only get a couple hundred reviews within a multi-year period, and they have 300, 200 units there. So like, you know, your population size obviously impacts the number of reviews, because the number of people that are, you know, you would expect to be touring and giving reviews, whatever. These guys don't have anything. They don't have anyone moved in yet. And they're not like, I mean, they're big, but they're not like huge in terms of size. And we're like, yeah, they probably pay people for reviews. And I'm sure that happens everywhere. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if we did it. But what's just so interesting about that is when you think about like the marketing for something like Twitch, for example. And the reason why I'm even talking about this is because it's very related to Twitch. I'm no expert on Twitch. I'm literally like brand new to Twitch. I have no idea what happens with Twitch. But if you're just talking about businesses in general and the way that the internet works, you get higher click-through rates and higher advertising when you are more viewed, right? Your content on YouTube or your content on Google is more likely to pop up if you've got more positive reviews or if more people are clicking on your website. Basically, exposure generates more exposure on the internet, as it should be, because when people are searching for you, they want to find, especially on Google, is a part of the reason this is really a big thing is because of Google's success. When people are searching for you, they want to search the right thing. So as a business, Google is encouraged and incentivized for their end users to provide the search results that are more searched by other people, right? Like, for example, if you searched red herring on Google, this is a great example for me personally. If you search red herring on Google and my stream is the first thing that pops up, you're a liar. There's no way that my stream is the first thing that pops up. I would hope the first thing that pops up is a picture of the freaking fish. Unless there's some kind of other famous person or something that uses the name red herring. I would hope it's just the fish that pops up. Because when people are searching it, they are typically searching for the fish. So, what that creates, though, the consequence of that in like a post-internet era, like early internet, yeah, of course. I'm searching Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. If I search "The Rock" on Google, it's gonna be The Rock. It's not gonna be a boulder. It's not gonna be an image of a boulder. It'll be The Rock. I almost guarantee you. So, early internet, that makes sense. The end user has a goal in mind. You as a service provider are trying to facilitate that end user accomplishing their goal. Duh. But what's happened is now people are very deeply aware of that interaction. We're getting so much lumber today, guys. I'm so excited to build some furniture eventually. But what's happened in the post-internet environment is now people are encouraged to generate exposure. So they generate exposure, right? It's like it's a positive feedback loop of like, if you have views, you will get more views by nature of the algorithms funneling new users to you almost for free. It's kind of like a barrier to entry. Now, I don't believe that those barriers to entry are impassable through quality. I think that there are people out there that will probably tell you if you're getting started on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, that it's in your best interest to create some type of false viewership base so that when a new potential viewer is scrolling, they are more likely to find you and they're more likely to click you. There are probably 1,000 other Twitch streams out there that have 1 or 0 viewers like mine. I wouldn't be surprised if there were. In fact, one of those things where I'm very confident that that's the case. So when you're scrolling, if you're a new viewer, or you're looking for something new to watch, you're a Twitch enjoyer, and you're looking for something new, what can happen is you're scrolling and you're first, of course, going to be showing the most popular streamers. Twitch has it in their best interest to show those streamers because those are the good guys. Those are the good streamers. Those are the people that other people have already found entertaining. So, of course, you want to highlight them. Please tell me there's a battle pet, like, healer in town up here. There's got to be, right? So you want to show those guys first, and then obviously it's going to filter down from there. And by guys, I don't mean guys... men exclusively, of course. What is this? Can you heal me though? You should be able to heal me. No. Okay, that's dumb. I don't actually know how to heal my battle pets. Oh. That's funny. No, that's really funny right there. It's really good. So I'm glad we were able to do that. That's dumb. Whatever just happened right there, that's the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. I'm sorry you had to witness that. Anyway, back to the tale. So, your Twitch, you're showing your top streamed people because those are the people that we've already determined are good at what they do. And the viewers that click through on those people are more likely to stick around and watch. Then you just keep scrolling down because you're like, you know what? Like, this just really isn't catching my attention. I want to try something new. I have not caught this skunk. We are 100% capturing a skunk. That's awesome. There's a skunk in the game. But we don't want it dead. Let's try this. That did it. Now the problem is we do too much damage. Let's try this. So you click, people click through to the right and they're like viewing and you're like, oh man, I want to find like, you know, I want to find something else to watch. So you keep scrolling down and now you're going to get to the people with 1,000 viewers, 800 viewers, you know, 900 viewers instead of 0 or 1. And that is where the mindset comes in that you should buy these viewers because you're going to push yourself. You know, you would spend $50 a month or whatever on 200 viewers. Cool beans. Now you've got the ability to capture 5 to 10 authentic viewers that are going to maybe engage in the chat. The next time that they, you know, scroll down and your chances are increased. And so what happens, and the whole point of me saying this is, there is a legitimate mindset that I can completely understand and get behind. I don't subscribe to it, but I can understand it. That it's in your best interest if you're starting out on one of these platforms, really any platform that engages with the internet where you're trying to create marketing and exposure, is to falsify those early viewership numbers, or those early engagement metrics, or the early click-through rates, or whatever. And now that bots are the way they are, like, it's not very expensive to do that. And I think that's why a lot of people do it. But my point in saying it is I don't think that that's necessary. I think that people that are good at what they do and they're interesting and they're entertaining, or there's a good restaurant with a good product, will find their way. If there are obstacles to them finding their way, the lack of marketing isn't the only thing that would have solved that. And I'm sure all the marketing professionals in the world would heavily disagree with me. They would say, well, that restaurant, mom and pop's restaurant down the street, if people just knew about them, their customers would have been able to come, see how good the food is, and then they could have gotten the customer base that they needed, and they would have been successful. And you're not wrong, but it's kind of like a chart, right? Like with the X and Y axis of speed. And what I mean by that is when you start a new business, like let's say I just decided tomorrow to quit my job and go into streaming full time. I was gonna make this my thing. I went all out. I invested in myself, not just a new computer, but I got a new actual microphone. I got a new webcam that's not dog shit. That's, you guys don't even see me with it. It's really not that good. But let's say I did that and I quit my job. There is a scale immediately. There's a hard stop scale on time and money. And that restaurant's time and money needs to align with their ability to become profitable. Otherwise, they'll fail, right? That's basic math. So that's not really a surprise to anyone. That's not really what I'm saying here. What I'm saying, though, is that marketing and exposure can accelerate that timeline and prevent you from getting to the point of not earning enough to sustain on that timeline restriction that you have on the money side, right? You have your initial investment and you run out of money at a certain time if your profits don't scale or your it's not necessarily profits, but the money that you're bringing in doesn't scale fast enough. If you take out a massive loan, you've automatically signed up for a time frame before something needs to make enough money to be worth it to you, or it will fail. That's the same thing with me. If I quit my job right now and went to streaming, I would have a certain amount of time between when I started streaming and when streaming needed to make me enough money to survive. Not even to be wealthy, but to survive, to make it worth it to me, or I'd have to just give it up, right? And exposure and marketing may be able to support that and escalate that and ramp that up like a catalyst for that process. You can now engage with more customers sooner. That's what marketing is, right? But I don't think, but again, my example with the pizza shop or the little mom and pop restaurant, their timeline wasn't long enough. They just didn't have enough time. And maybe if they had more customers, it could have happened. But there were other things already built into their business plan that would have facilitated a failure in that restaurant. The fact that they didn't have the exposure is just a symptom of the problem, in my opinion. And maybe that's the wrong opinion. But that's what to bring it all back, because we're kind of rambling here. To bring it all back, Twitch streamers, the ones that are good, will find their way. They will create content creators in general, because I don't really think people really don't just do one avenue of content creation anymore. Usually they recommend multifaceted engagement across multiple platforms, because again, you're trying to capture the largest audience you can, and you also have cross-pollination across different platforms when you do that. But content creators in general, I think the ones that are good and really put the time and effort and energy into it will find their way to being successful and find their way to an audience one way or the other. And there are different avenues to finding that, but I don't think that falsifying your viewership is really the best way to do it. I think that falsifying your viewership numbers to give yourself a leg up ultimately just sets you back from those moments that you'll have early on in your career that like really motivate you. And I'm speaking like I'm some kind of expert on this, and I'm not. But the reason why I speak confidently on it is because that experience translates across everything. The journey into a new hobby, into a new experience, where you're a little insecure, where you're a little uncomfortable, where the littlest wins feel big, is a like shared human experience across all experiences. If you've ever learned to skateboard or ski or hell, try a new sport or try new food, there is an insecurity and a natural like discomfort that comes in that process. And like I used to stream a while ago, it's long gone now, but I used to stream Pokemon Nuzlocke, and I remember being up late one night streaming Pokemon Yellow. I think it was Pokemon Yellow. And I was doing a Nuzlocke of Pokemon Yellow, and this guy joined the chat and was like really talking to me, like really engaging with me in the chat, in the stream. He was helping me name the Pokemon. He was on his own Nuzlocke and was really just hanging out with me, doing the thing, right? And that was so much fun. And then the next night, he came back, and we hung out again, and we did the same thing. And like, that was very genuine. From his perspective, from my perspective, we had a lot of fun. I was only streaming the Nuzlocke as proof that I had completed them. You know, I wanted to prove that the work was done. And I didn't have a way of storing the streams back then, or I didn't have a way of storing the recordings back then on my memory. So I streamed it instead. And that was such a cool moment. And like, if you purchase a bunch of views and then someone comes into your chat and it's kind of dead, are they gonna talk? Maybe they will. Maybe they will talk. And maybe you will get that interaction. But for me, I remember I would like, and I don't have the numbers. I don't have the numbers now, but I used to when I would stream. I would see if anyone was in there, and I just look at the viewership numbers, kind of watch it to see if anyone was paying attention to me. And now I don't do that because I don't care. But it's just funny because like anytime that number would go up to 1, I'd get so excited, and I'd like try to talk to the person and see if they would talk back to me or whatever. And it's just there's something about like that. Take Twitch out of it. There's something about the love of a hobby or a career path or a journey that is built by sucking at it, being an amateur at it, having no one care, having no one view, and taking away from that experience by falsifying or jump-starting a journey is just, to me, it feels like it ruins it for yourself. We've talked about this here on this journey about WoW, and we were talking about Darkshore. This was last episode when we completed Darkshore. We were talking about how Cataclysm zones, the questing in the zones, and the stories that are being told in the zones is actually really good. At least in Darkshore. I can't speak for all of them, but like there's some really interesting stuff going on in Darkshore. There's some really carefully crafted love of the game, homages to previous quests. There's characters that reappear that get development that you wouldn't have expected. Or maybe that you would have expected, and that's exactly how the story should go. And you want those characters to evolve. These are characters that you spend a lot of time with in Classic that you want to see evolve. And it's very clear that the people who did it with love and appreciation. But to tie back to our don't kill your love of something by trying to do it too fast, which is kind of the moral of this journey, which is, I guess, is why I'm even talking about the streaming numbers and the streaming stuff too, is because I'm not an expert there. But it ties back to the theme of this journey, which is like, don't spoil something for yourself trying to do it too fast. And where we ended up with the Cataclysm situation is, one, the questing itself was too quick. People were enjoying those zones too fast. They were leveling out of them before they got to finish the quest lines and see how things tied up. And that's Blizzard's fault for not scaling it properly. Or maybe that's the wrong way to look at it. It's not Blizzard's fault for scaling it improperly. It's Blizzard's fault for prioritizing the speed of the leveling process over the quality of the questing experience. And the players prioritized the speed of the leveling process over the quality of the questing experience, and then complained that the questing experience wasn't good. Or that maybe they just didn't like that their zones were not the same as whatever. There's 100 different arguments. But the point that we were making about the Cataclysm zones, Darkshore specifically, was that we would end that zone normally around like level 18 or 19. But I played in Cataclysm, and I can tell you right now, had that been me then, what do we want? I don't know what we want. Let's go with Tiger's Tenacity. I played back then, and I can tell you right now, the second I hit level 15, I was going into dungeons. At level 15, I was selecting to move out of the world into dungeons that I had done 100 other times because the leveling was so fast. You'd do like one dungeon and move up 2 levels like your first dungeon, and the quests were in there and everything. So I was incentivized by Blizzard to do that. But I still made the conscious choice to do it. And in doing so, I disengaged myself from the quest chain. Probably out-leveled the zone much faster. Didn't spend my time exploring this world that's absolutely massive. Like, the fact that you can pay $15 a month. You do not have to buy Midnight. You don't have to buy anything. You just pay $15 a month. In fact, for free, you can go to level 20. And you can experience hundreds of hours of gameplay for $15 a month. I mean, thousands of hours of gameplay. I don't know how much time I've spent in this game, but this character alone, we've spent 19 hours on this character, which isn't really a lot. And we had a lot of stuff already built in for us, you know, from previous characters and other. I mean, this account's been around since like 2006. But if you're a brand new player to a game, for $15 a month, you get access to pretty much everything in WoW, and you can do so much. So what I was doing back then in Cataclysm, and what a lot of players have done, continue to do, and will do, is they will take themselves out of the part of the game that they enjoy, the reason why they've even come to an adventure like this, for the sake of efficiency, and then turn around and say that they hated their experience. And I know this is the problem that Blizzard deals with every day, and I'm not trying to defend them, because the point of me doing this journey is to rekindle my love for the retail version of the game, and it has been successful. I've been playing Midnight on a main character, and I have been dungeon grinding, and I plan on raiding. I just did normal mode, Dream, whatever the hell it's called, last night, and I had fun with it, and I'm very much enjoying it. But the reason why I started this journey was to rekindle that love, because Blizzard had lost me at some point along the way. And that's their fault, but it's also partially my fault too. And I think we tend to do this not just in World of Warcraft. I've seen this happen with myself and other hobbies. I've seen this happen to my friends in other hobbies. I see this happen every single day. How many times do you want to get into a new hobby? Just think about this. You want to get into a new hobby, or like maybe you're like, I need to get healthier. Is a really good example. I need to get healthier. I want to diet. I want to go on a diet. I want to start running. I want to go to the gym, whatever. What's the first thing most people do? They look up online. There's guides out there. There's advice. Okay, fine. Research is good. Should always research. The next thing people usually do is buy a bunch of shit related to that hobby. New running shoes. And most of the time, it's not just new running shoes. It's new good running shoes. Like, good running shoes. I'm talking like $150 running shoes. Then they buy... I've done this before too. Then they buy the Under Armour running shirts and the belt that holds the water bottle, and they buy the My brother in Christ, you have not ran more than 3 miles in your life. Just go run. Hydrate, eat well, and just run. You don't need the top of the line shoes. You don't need to VO2 max. You don't need the $500 Garmin watch. Just go run, man. And if you hate it, then don't buy anything. But if you like it, slow burn into it. I do this to myself all the time. Obviously ADHD, it happens. I spend all this stupid money on a hobby, going full force into it before I even realize that I love it. I've seen it happen in Warhammer. People, they want to learn to paint. They buy 50 paints. They get 17 different models. They paint one model and they're like, meh. Done. I'm done. I'm bored. And then that's it for them. And they waste time and energy. They don't kindle that authentic joy. That's what we're trying to do with the game by taking it slow. And doing all the things, right? No pun intended, but pun intended for sure. That's what people should do more often. In relationships. I mean, guys, you want to talk about a funny story? I've been on crazy dates, and I'm sure you have too. Crazy dates in my life. or like met people online, or you know, through a dating app or whatever. This is why I don't use them anymore.
How are you?
That's why I'm out of the game. Okay, I'm intentionally out of the game for many reasons, but one of them being because if you go on a dating app, people try to like speed run the dating process. They will like, and I'm guilty of doing this too. You go on, you like start talking, like the vibes are good, you're really enjoying the conversation, you're like, oh, let's meet up. You're going to a dinner, and like a nice dinner, not necessarily the setting that I would say is a great first spot to like get to know someone. You know, you're like eating food awkwardly across the table. There's a lot of other people around. For safety reasons, of course, you want to be in public. And then like, people are asking questions like, what do you want out of a relationship? And what are your goals in life? And what's your biggest insecurity? These are all really good questions, by the way. I'm not dogging on these questions. I think they are great questions to ask. I think they're important questions to know about the people you care about. But that's the kicker. That's the kicker. The kicker is that they're questions you ask people you know and you care about. I don't know you from Adam. I've literally just had a few days of conversation with you, and now we're at dinner and we're here talking about my childhood trauma. Huh? Slow down, man. I don't even know if I like hanging out with you. I don't even know, like, I don't even know if I want to go see a baseball game with you or something else that's fun. Why should I tell you anything about my insecurities in life? Or how much money I make, or like how work is going, or like my parents? You don't know my parents. But people try to speedrun it. It's like everyone's trying to speedrun it. I was just talking the other day to someone, and they were like, we were talking about how hard it is to teach people to play WoW. Because it is hard. It's really hard to get into WoW. Like, WoW is very hard to get into. If you don't think so, it's because you've been playing it. WoW is very hard to get into. The systems are incredibly complicated, or they're not complicated. Excuse me, they're not complicated and they're simple, but only to people that play MMOs. There's like an unspoken language that we have all learned just by being around the games on like how things function. So a really good example of that is your map. If you're a console player, you are probably not as familiar with like a map in a quest as an MMO player. Now, if you play like Red Dead Redemption or like some of those more open world games, you might be. But let's say you're playing like Call of Duty and like Fortnite, and maybe play some Dead by Daylight and maybe some sports games. The concept of a quest might be foreign to you. The concept of a quest marker and what it means may be foreign to you. The concept of a side quest will be incredibly foreign to you. So you start WoW up and they start giving you quests in your starting zone. And you're like, okay, I get it. I get the objective. I complete the objective. That's a pretty universal gaming experience, right? Then you keep getting quests, side quests. And now it's no longer I complete the objective and I progress the story. It's I'm getting assigned so many objectives that I don't know what to do with myself. Which ones are important? How do I know if they're important? And you're sitting there saying, well, there's campaign quests. Of course, those are the ones that are important. They have a different border. What is a campaign? How do I know what a campaign is? How do I know why the campaign is important? Is it self-evident that the campaign is important? I'm having a lot of fun on this side quest where I help Sally rescue her frickin' Kodo. Some of these quests,
Hello.
I'm saving the world, and some of these quests,
need
I'm
something?
cooking gumbo
Have a
for
good
Cookie. McWeak sauce. They're both fun. I'm thematically a little disjointed, but like I'm not mad.
How are ya?
But when you first started playing the game, you probably experienced that too. You're just doing everything under the sun. I mean, when I started playing the game, we didn't have campaign quests, but like there were quests that were more important to the story, of course. You know, you do them all, or you don't do them, or here's the thing: you do some of them, and some of them are boring. You don't like them, or you can't figure out how to complete the quest. That's not good. And so we're talking about how hard it is to get new players into WoW. And he's telling me that he got his friend into WoW. And the first thing they did was speed run to 90. I'm talking speed run to 90. Guy doesn't even know how to figure out his freaking buttons yet. And now the guy is more of a gamer, so it's maybe not that complicated for him. But they're out there doing like bee pulls and like just other stuff to get this guy to max level as quickly as possible. How is that fun? I just don't understand how it's fun. And like, okay, maybe the fun for you is in the end game. Maybe the competitive aspect is the only thing you care about. But like, I'm not going to make my goal be a competitive marathon runner. I'm not talking about professionally. I'm just saying like, I don't want my hobby to be competitive marathon running. Because there are people that are not pros that like, their goal is to just run faster marathons. That's what they train for. That's their hobby. That's like WoW. Okay, maybe you're not going to be a world first raider. That's not your goal, but you want to be a heroic raider or something. Good goal. Great goal in WoW. You want to be a heroic raider. Okay. You don't say to yourself, I'm going to be a heroic raider, and then learn to play the game. You're doing yourself a disservice. Fall in love with the game, and then say, I think I should be a heroic raider. That would be fun. He's skipping all this content. He's skipping all the love of the game shit. And getting just to max level where he's going to look around at a world that he doesn't fully understand or care about. And then complain when it's just like, meh, I don't really get it. WoW's combat is good. WoW's raiding combat is very good. I love raiding in WoW. But it's not that good. Like, let's not pretend like WoW's combat alone, WoW's raiding alone, is enough to hook a new player. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But I don't think it is. Like, why pick this? People are playing Crimson Desert right now, right? Like, if you're going to play this game like almost like a single-player experience, where you are only interacting with other players to complete, like, game objectives, and quests and stuff, or like raids and stuff, and like you're just gonna sprint through the actual like game's content, then the combat alone is not there enough, in my opinion, to guarantee somebody will enjoy it. But my point of going on a rant with all this is, what's the best way to say this? Don't deprive yourself of the little joys that come with learning something new, or figuring out if you even enjoy a hobby or not, or the insecurities that come with failing, looking a little awkward, being a little awkward. It's okay if you decide to start running today and you go outside with your crappy old lawn cutting shoes and a pair of old gym shorts and a t-shirt and run. And I guarantee you, people in the world have enough going on for themselves that they really don't care. In fact, they won't. They will see you, and they might acknowledge you, and they will move on. And by acknowledge you, I mean like in their brain acknowledge that you exist, not say something to you. I mean, maybe they will say something to you every now and then, but don't deprive yourself of the experience of learning and failing and being awkward and being bad and sucking for the sake of being efficient, or the sake of not embarrassing yourself, or like looking cool, or whatever, right? Like, don't pay for those views on your stream because having zero viewers is a little embarrassing, but so what? You're gonna get one viewer and you're gonna learn how that one viewer likes to view content. It might change how you create content, and then maybe you'll get two. Or you can just do you and they will just come if they like you or not. I don't know. And the same thing for work. I mean, the same thing can be said for your career, college, whatever. Just don't deprive yourself of the awkward phase, because we're all still growing as people. And we're still all in awkward phases. I mean, shit, remember middle school? That is awkward phase. Puberty is your awkward phase. Imagine skipping puberty and being asked to be an adult. You like lose all that context and appreciation for like where you come and the lessons you've learned and the mistakes that you make along the way. They shape who you are. So don't deprive yourself of that in a hobby. Also, make sure that you love something before you start going hard into it. You can say like, oh, I want to be a streamer. I'm going to spend $100 a month on these fake viewers. Then realize you don't really even like streaming that much, even when you start to get viewers. And then you've just wasted everyone's time. So, lesson of today: don't deprive yourself of the little joys and the awkward learning phases. Just dive headfirst into them like a pile of leaves. Okay, that's that. Now, what have we been doing this whole time now that we're done with that rant? What we've been doing is we've been investigating the land. We're doing the things. We are, there are these pirate people on the coast at Odysseus' landing, and then there are these other guys down here. They're traders. They're trader pirates. We are trying to reconcile the tragedy of the trader pirates versus the main pirates. We've got our man Cookie McWeak Sauce. We've got Admiral Odysseus here. We are trying to create a disguise so that we can investigate who the traitor is so that we can take them out. What we've done is we've gone down to the traders' camps down south in the Naga ruins. We've found some of their documents, and we've used those documents to determine where the traitor will be. And then we've also found a hollowed out tree and a pile of leaves, several piles of leaves to be specific, to utilize as our disguise materials. Now, we're going to go up the coastline. We have a quest to kill some Naga. They are here. They are in the Night Elf ruins that are on this island. No surprise at all. Naga love Night Elf ruins. They like to go back home, look for artifacts. Naga, as I mentioned earlier today, Naga are former well, they're High Elves technically. Former High Elves, same species as the Night Elf, that were arcane wielders when the Sundering occurred and the Well of Eternity was destroyed, which was just a giant pool of arcane energy. When that was destroyed, their Queen Azara, made a deal with an old god, N'Zoth, for a promise of life and power, and turned them into these seafaring creatures so that they wouldn't drown, but also so that he could have them under his control, which is what he's done. You can see the Naga got a new model. They look very good, very clean. I don't know when this new model was implemented, but you can see that they've got, they smoothed out their edges. The old Nagas look really pixelated around their little fins and frills, so that's cool that they've gotten that opportunity to be upgraded. Congrats to the Naga. Please don't squander it. I'm sure that was due to their inclusion rates and stuff that I can do. Naga, take them out, and move on to our next piece of the story. There's a lot of materials up here for some reason. There's some copper ore, and I think that's the next thing we're going to do. Once we finish this trader quest, I want to take a break from Iridalaran, and I want to do some professions, because we haven't really interacted with professions much, and we are leveling professions as a part of this journey. There is a profession section to this, so we will log into our profession characters. We have an inscriptionist and an alchemist. That is our monk. We have a blacksmith and I believe an engineer. I believe he's an engineer. I think that makes sense. Blacksmith and engineer. He's a rogue. Shout out to rogues, that's best. We have this druid who is a miner and an herbalist, so that we can actually facilitate these materials, these raw materials, going to our characters. Then we have a demon hunter who is an enchanter and a tailor. Now, worth noting that these characters are all leather. For those of you who don't know, they are all leather characters, and we are focused on completing our leather journey on the completionist side of things. Now, that doesn't mean we are not going to collect cloth and mail and plate along the way, but in terms of the goals that we are setting around armor, we are doing it specifically for battle, because our goal is to have the transmog pieces and the weapons and things like that for our main, which is a rogue. But ultimately, like, by collecting all these, it's just part of the fun of like finding the items and having a relationship with the items that really have a relationship. Spike Lash Dagger, we know all about the Spike Lash Dagger, the Key Machete, like that was a grind for them. We're gonna have like these emotional attachments to weapons and items and artifacts and quests and different things that we just haven't had in the past. So that's the goal of the challenge, of course. And in doing the professions, we want to get all of the recipes that we can. We are going to, at some point, once we get access to them, have dungeons that we're going to be running for BOE recipes. We're going to want to trade those to our crafters. We're going to want them to be able to utilize those crafts to craft items. There's also going to be some gold making within this challenge. It's not going to be the goal of the challenge, but as a result of crafting some of these items, or like finding items, like finding materials or finding rare drops, there is going to be an element of it where we're selling off the extras that we're finding, or turning them into materials to sell, or whatever. So I think doing our first, because we have not done professions at all, we kind of dabbled a little bit, but I think doing professions would be a good way to kind of mix up today's grind. We're not going to finish Azure Missile today by any stretch of the imagination, although I will say it looks like we're doing a pretty good job so far in terms of our progress. There is a Shadowfang Keep quest. There's some pet battles. A lot of quests. There's the Blood Elf Bandit, which we do need to get. And we do not have the Blood Elf Bandit mask, so that will be a journey. I just don't know where the Blood Elf Bandit spawns, and he's not on the map for our rare scanner. So, like, that's kind of weird, right? I wonder if we'll be able to find him elsewhere. Or I wonder if we'll be able to find, like, his spawn locations. I don't know what his, like, respawn rate is either. Like, I know nothing about the Blood Elf Bandit. I don't know what his drop chance is on the mask. It's worth a pretty penny, I know that. So I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. That's coming down the pipeline for sure. He also has a quest for us. Do I need anything from in here? Wrathscale Naga? Oh, okay. They're a subclass of the Wrathscale. Okay, let's do that. Tiger's Fury, I wanted to get bolstered bully. But for our first crafts, we're really just going to be like leveling up as quickly as possible for all the professions. We're not really going to be looking for any crazy things to like sell off. I mean, we're going to sell whatever we make just so we don't like burn off. We're gonna make money because we farmed the materials ourselves for the most part, but also it's gonna fund their like training costs and things like that. But we're gonna want to get like 300 crafting, 300 classic crafting, and like that kind of thing. We're also gonna have the new decor to interact with. That we built our house in episode 1, I think, and we haven't really done anything with it, to be honest. But like we could, and we could craft the decor for ourselves. I'm not really like a decor guy, so I don't want to like get like multiple of something, but I want to get one of each. That feels like a pretty attainable thing. At least one of the ones that we're interacting with here. I'm not out here trying to like buy them off the store, spend millions of gold on them. Okay, so here we are in our tree form, hiding. Not druid tree form, just the standard tree form. We see this guy named Giesel meeting with Engineer Spark Overgrind. Spark Overgrind is a member of our team that we thought was a good guy. In fact, he actually assigned us a quest. And now we're finding out that he's the traitor. They're talking about things. He's explaining what he's doing and what the plan is, and the Dark Lady doing her thing, and they're mad. They don't want to screw anything up. It's a whole thing. It is a whole thing, guys. I should probably change this first day in Moonglade comment to first day in Azure Mist. Okay. So now I'm still a tree. Please, someone get me out. Tree's Company is the name of the quest. That's absolutely hilarious. Okay, I just think that we should get Orca-form and Cheetah-form. But I do kind of like this old school, like, seal otter looking guy. He is kind of sick. I like how we go out into the Veiled Sea and our thing just completely changes. It is kind of rough when there's no flying in the zone. That's kind of shitty. But it forces us to appreciate these ruins. Look at these ruins, guys. No. No reason to overhype what isn't really that exciting. We've seen these ruins 100 times. Now, I like the architecture of the ruins. I think they're cool. I will say, in my leveling journey from Classic, where I leveled up that Night Elf, like, all the way up, the only thing I didn't do is, before pre-patch launch for TBC, was Fellwood, Winter Spring, I think, were the only 2 zones I didn't get through. And I had never leveled through Classic before, like actual vanilla Classic. I had played on private servers that I had like 12 times experience, and I played TPC, so I leveled through that. But that leveling is a lot quicker at that stage, so you're not really like going through those zones for as long, and there's a lot more quests. And honestly, I try to avoid Fellwood any chance I get. And I'd never done Winter Spring before. So, anyway, I was very, very surprised by my experience on the Kalimdor coast, interacting with a lot of the Night Elf stuff. I think those zones are
Greetings. What can I do for you?
McWeak Sauce. We love Johnny McWeak Sauce.
What's on your mind?
Ancient Relic. We're just
Watch your
leveling
back.
so quickly here. She's gonna give me another quest for sure. I don't trust her. Rip and Tear. Rip has a 5% chance to make your next ferocious spike free. Oh, absolutely. You don't have anything for us, priest and priestess? Are you sure? Whatever. Okay, let's go find our boy Spark. Spark Overgrind.
Need assistance?
We know everything about traders. We don't like traders around here. The last trader that tradered us died. The satyr. Fellhoof. He's the king of the naive and
Can I help
gullible.
you?
We kicked his ass. And now Spark Overgrind is about to get the same freaking treatment, ladies and gentlemen. Look at him. Waste of space. Don't betray your friends, period. That's the moral of the story. Sorry, Crawler, that you had to be a victim of circumstance on this one, because we really didn't need to kill you, but you were in the way. Sometimes that's what makes you a victim. Excuse me. Okay. Traders, done. Now let's add these materials. We're not going to equip any of this
Well
anyway,
then.
so...
Light bless you.
What brings you here? A shot for life.
She wants me to kill the warlord. Okay, so
Good day to you.
one of the things that we are
Safe
doing
travels.
from a profession's perspective on this character is cooking. We are at 177 cooking. We have none of the materials required to cook any more levels, which makes sense because of where we're at in our journey. We have 73 classic fishing. We have no archaeology. Mining, we're at where we're at. My blacksmith can't smelt. That is a problem. So let's
Great to meet you.
smelt. Let's see how much we need to smelt. Okay. Looks like we need a lot of copper bars anyway. So let's just make all these bars. Because I didn't even think that we wouldn't have access to the bars themselves if we didn't smelt them ourselves. So let's smelt the bars. The internet says 150 copper bars will get us to where we want to go. I just don't think that's right. Okay, we don't want midnight. We don't want midnight, though. I'm sure things have changed in terms of the speed. That's why I'm like weary to just use vanilla WoW leveling guides for these. But you know, I don't know. Maybe that's just not my grind. It's not my axe to grind here. We're smelting the copper up, though. It's getting there. So much copper to smelt. I mean, like, so many bars. Let's do some organizing. So these are cookable. These are linen. We're going to need those. This is a leather working recipe. I also have a skinner and a leather worker, by the way. These are all irrelevant to us. Earthroot is definitely important. This Smasholite could be important. Peace Bloom will be big. The lumber is important too. To these crafts. There's our silver leaf. Really, we don't have a lot of it going on here. I also want to sell these items. Not on this character. I have a character that sells the things, so let's... Battle Chain Cloak, if everyone remembers. Got 2 of these. This was a rare... This was a drop that we got. It is one of the only low-level long cloaks for like level 2s and stuff, so it's pretty cool looking. We're using TSM for our selling of the junk. We're gonna put all this in the warband bank. And sell the rest of this junk. Battle chain bracers. Didn't know that those were in there. But they're part of the battle chain set. Wonder if they're blue. Doesn't look like we can sell while we're crafting, which is kind of silly, but I guess that makes sense. We only have 2 hands. We can't smelt all this copper into copper bars without both of our hands. We can't be bartering off to the side, so we're just gonna sit here and hang out for a little. I hope you're having a great day so far. If you're here with me on this journey, I hope you're having a great day. We're doing all the fun shit today! For sure. Kind of like a lax day compared to all the hype of some of the previous days, but I guess that's a good way to ease back into the challenge now that we're here. We did take that little hiatus there. Not really intentionally, but it doesn't matter. Still some time off. We're gonna try to get back to it. Did some early Saturday, early Sunday morning, chill streams with the crew while we work on, other times we're playing, we might be working on our main character and progressing. My goal was to get some raiding done on that guy. I think I'd like to finish a mythic raid in a raid tier. Haven't done that in a long time. Haven't done that ever, actually. I have raided mythic. I've progressed through mythic, but we were a heroic raiding guild that would go into mythic once we finished heroic for fun. So we'd clear like 3 or 4 bosses, usually per tier. We weren't raiding really long enough or trying intensely enough. Part of the challenge was we never really have enough players to go into mythic reliably. I don't know how many players mythic is now, but it used to be 20 hard stop, and we were like a heroic guild of like 15 people. So we pug like a couple extras and try to do mythics, and we'd kind of like figure it out. But I think I'd like to like commit to a raid schedule during the week and actually progress through mythic. I think I'm perfectly capable of playing the game at that level. Mythic's challenging, but it's not really that challenging. So that's on the docket as well. Okay, so we've got our bars. Now what do we do? Blizzard has implemented this really cool thing called the Warband Distance Inhibitor. It's your shared bank between all your characters. It allows you to send things to this. You can see we've got our keen machete here. Allows you to send things to this bank. Now these are gonna go. These greens right here are all for disenchanting. These greens here are all for selling. So we need to make that distinction. Put some linen cloth in there. Get the pattern. And the bars. Do we have any other bars that we need to take out? Got some tin. We're not at bronze yet, so we'll just hold. These guys are worth some money. This launcher we're gonna sell as well. The raw brilliant small fish are cookable. Okay, that looks like a pretty good spread there. Alright. So now what we'll do is we will teleport to our house. Up on Aerodome, and I can't wait to get new shoulders and a new helmet, dude. I'm tired of wearing these event shoulders that are not relevant to our journey whatsoever. We only wear things that we like earn along this journey, so like we want to look like those characters, or look like that character that's experienced things. These two things do not really align with that, in my opinion. Okay, So let's start with the tailoring and enchanting, and we can start by disenchanting some of those items that we've got in the bank and see what kind of crafts we might be able to put together. Out of all the professions, I think the only one that I don't have any interaction with, like, see, we're gonna. The only one we don't have any interaction with is what's the other herb one? No, it's just inscription. Skinning, leatherworking. Jewel crafting. We don't have any jewel crafters, unfortunately. I like jewel crafting. It's one of those professions that I really like to interact with, but I don't, unfortunately, have it. At one point, I think we were trying to sell these shirts off or something, or maybe we just crafted a bunch, and I just was waiting to log back in to get all these materials. This is why you do tailoring and enchanting together, right? Because you can just disenchant this, get a bunch of strange dust, like enchant a bunch of shit up. Do we have vellums on this guy? I don't see any vellums. I'll have to get that. We do have some shirts. White linen shirt. We crafted those so that we would make sure that we had those recipes as something that we had access to, because we just didn't. That's another reason why we're doing this, right? Because there are appearances that we have locked behind these professions that we will need to unlock. And eventually we will need to run these characters through different dungeons so that we can interact with them as well. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull up the Warband Distance Inhibitor on this character, because the cooldown is 2 hours, but it's not shared across characters. We are going to pull out all the stops in terms of these cheap, crappy, and we're keeping this War Bank, tab 1, exclusive to this challenge. So anything in my War Bank 2, which I haven't used yet, is called main, obviously, because that goes to the main character. I'm not necessarily self-founding this, but I do want to keep, like, the material. It would be so easy for me to just, like, run off and, like, farm, like, 1,000 billion cloth and level this to cap, but I'm trying to keep this a little self-contained so that we can have that experience. So, like, green shirt, for example, we haven't collected it. Now it's been collected, and look at that, guys. We got an achievement. See, like, this is why we do this. We've had a low achievement day, a low earning day, and now here we are equipping something that we hadn't equipped before. Okay, so disenchanting. I could have sworn we had disenchanting on our bars, but we don't. Okay. So we want to disenchant like this, and this. These are all greens we found on this journey. That we've determined really just like aren't worth selling, so we're just gonna disenchant them. Getting some good essence in here. Some of these appearances we haven't collected before, so we're gonna disenchant them. We're gonna get the appearance. That's sick. There you go. Lots of that today, huh? Got the red linen shirt. We've done that one before. Okay, the next thing we're going to collect from here is the cloth. We got 63 cloth, 20 wool, so not a ton. Not a ton of cloth, but we're going to check that out and see what we've got in here that we could potentially make on the classic tailoring side, because we are 93 in classic tailoring. There is the ability for us to make some bolts, so we're just going to craft up some bolts real quick. Put these linen bolts together too. I'm sure there are some things we can make in here. Here's like wool is our next grind, which we won't get a lot of wool for a while, but some of these items do sell pretty well, and we can craft them up and just earn some gold. How much carat gold do I have? It's like 53 gold, not a lot. But again, it's all about self-funding the training for these characters, keeping everything a little semi-self-contained just for earnings purposes. After this, we'll go over to our Inscriptionist and Alchemist. Okay, brown linen robes, what are they going for? Not much. Interesting, you can make them blue now. That's very cool. Barbaric linen vests, we haven't collected this. Is that wool? Let's craft one of these. And then let's create a bunch of brown robes to disenchant. Since we don't really need the bolts of linen cloth as much anymore. Okay, now let's look at our classic enchanting. We haven't really done much with this. We've got the ability to enchant a boatload of this, though. And that's what we're gonna do. Eventually we'll get the cool stuff. Right now, it's boring old enchant bracers health. And it's probably like +1 health. Health by 2, yeah. 2 health and we already have 3,000 something. Really moving it along here, huh? But you know what? You get a lot of these levels, like, I don't remember this enchant lasting this long into the leveling journey for being, you know, one that gives you levels pretty much every time. So that's kind of cool. Also, it looks like they have changed the enchanting little craft spell icon to be way more arcane-y, which I really like the look at that. Look at the dust kind of coming off of it. Before it was more of like a bubble. It looked very bubbly. This looks very like it emanates from your hands and kind of spreads around versus emanating from the middle of the enchant. So very cool. And we're gonna go get our training for both of these as well, because I'm sure there's trainings that we haven't taken advantage of. Into the 40s is crazy. I wonder if it'll cut off at like 45. I mean, like, we got a lot of strange dust, so we're not complaining, but I'm shocked that it's allowing us to go this long with no new crafts. I'm glad I'm not doing the vellums either, because like, as much as I could sell those enchants, like, come on, what are we doing here? Beast slaying? Still not doing it. None of these enchants are really that interesting or that dynamic. The other thing we have to keep in mind is, like, eventually we're going to have to rep grind for some of these recipes, and I'm hoping that those reps are shared across the warband. That way we can just run over to those areas and collect those recipes on these characters versus having to grind them out, because that would suck. I wouldn't do that, to be honest. I just would refuse. I can't stand reputation grinds, and I'm not looking forward to when we get to them, because I'm not very, like, they're one of the things that I don't like a lot. But there's things like the Winter Spring Cub that I mean, that's part of the journey, right? Like, we're gonna have to get that. The fact that we are still minor healthing all the way up this high is crazy. But I'm not gonna complain. This is cheap. This is cheap levels right here, guys. And eventually, I think I get to, like, Terrace Follow. This right here is an enchanting recipe. That's a campfire. That's worth 5,000 gold. I've got a main to fund. It also looks like enchanting materials from the running Molten Core may be the vibe, and also I do kind of want to get Thunder Fury at some point, so I might need to get on that train. Jeez, the fact that we are still going, it's still getting us levels, guys. Wow, that is wild. Let's disenchant the brown linen robes, because we'll get strange dust from all of these. Let's see how far we can go. Now, the warbank doesn't really go away. It takes a while. Thank you. What a gift. We're just out here disenchanting. Also, disenchanting is purple and enchanting is blue, so that's kind of sick. I don't think that was always the thing. Maybe it was. Okay. Let's keep chanting it up. If they're gonna keep giving me levels, I'm gonna keep taking advantage of it. Okay, now it's yellow. Alright, now it's yellow. We can enchant dodge on here for the next 5 levels. Let's get us to 75. We'll get ourselves the achievement. I don't know if we've ever gotten this achievement before. I would assume we have. Getting enchanting to a certain level. Or maybe it's just any profession. I don't really know what they constitute as the reason for the achievement. Let's see. Go. Okay, there is no achievement for that. Okay. Or we've already achieved whatever achievement is associated with hitting 75 on a crafting profession. I just assumed they would have one for each, but I may have already done this for enchanting, to be honest. I don't know. Okay. 80. Woo! Let's go, guys. Okay, so next thing, we're going to post we should have groups for the brown linen shirt, the blue linen shirt, the green linen shirt, red linen shirt, white linen shirt. Okay. So let's post those. Just 35 gold, nothing crazy, but way more than we currently have. So let's do that. Just sell them off, you know. Quick sales. Now next thing we need to do is we need to find the tailoring in the enchanting person, which I don't know in Darnassus where those
I
people
am
are.
of all
To be
the
honest.
wondrous places within here among the craftsmen of Darnassus.
Okay,
There
open
is
the
a
craft
millennium
upstairs.
of
That would make
knowledge
sense.
for the benefit of your chosen craft.
The Fellsaber is a really cool looking
Which
map, I would
craft
say.
do you find the most intriguing?
Not really my cup of tea, but the Demon Hunter, like, motif isn't really my thing either, to be honest. Okay, this is where our crafts come to go. This is enchanting.
I am listening.
You're now gonna give me a wand. Lots of stuff to learn there, okay. Minor wizard oil. That could be useful to craft. Okay. Now where's the tailoring trainer? Leatherworking tailoring. There we go. These buildings are really cool, actually. I really like their messes a lot. It's a shame it's gone.
I am what a fine
What do you have to craft? What do you
It
have to teach me?
inspires me
Woolen
to create
boots?
a new design. New style.
I don't have this recipe. Also, apparently this recipe is
What
working.
brings you here?
So is this one?
Farewell.
Let's sell it. Orange Marshall shirt. I don't have this tailoring. The shirt's sick though. It appears that this this recipe is worth some money, so let's go back over here and sell it. My bank is gone, so I'm just gonna sell on this character. Orange Marshall shirt. Look at that, guys. 5K. That'd be big. Probably not a very common item to steal from that vendor because a lot of people don't come to Darnassus. So that would be my assumption there. Okay, Domindus. He is our inscriber and our alchemist. Inscription is the one I've been focusing on leveling, and the reason why is because Inscription crafts some very interesting things that make more sense to like do, because there's like not only money but there's transmogs involved. Also, we're trying to get like the cheetah appearance. So first thing is first, we're gonna open our war bank as we have been doing with everyone, and we're gonna pull out the relevant items. First and foremost, all of the transmogs that we're gonna sell. Boop, 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 boop. Those are ours. We're keeping that in there, but now we're going to pull out the herbs. These are all of our herbs. Why do I have this? I don't know. Inky Black Potion. Bruiseweed. Mage Royal. We've got these dyes. What we're going to do with the dyes. Peace Bloom. Okay. That is our herbs. Let's do quick grouping for the items we're about to sell. Want to make sure we're not accidentally selecting any of the items we're not selling. We don't sell materials like this because I like to be very specific about materials and I want them accidentally automatically sold. Aboriginal foot wraps are no way those Aboriginal foot wraps are worth 13,000 gold, but barbaric cloth vest, we just... Ooh. There's no way these sell for all this. The battle chain cloak at 23k sounds about right. Hey, you know what? Fuck it, we ball. Now we've got these herbs and spices. Let's take a look at our inscription. So there's classic milling. These are blue dyes. Pigments. These blue dye pigments. We can research Moonglow ink. Foul Menagerie, Stars and Spectral Wolf. We can create enchanting vellums. I think we should research the Moonglow ink. And to do that, we need to mill. So, let's mill. It's a lot of pigments in here, guys. I'm milling the cheapest ones first because I want to see where we're going with this. Okay, research Moonglow ink. So we craft all the Moonglow ink we want. In this case, it's 25 Moonglow ink. I'm just like very cognizant of the fact that I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to inscription. I've never leveled inscription up before. And I might want to go talk to the inscription trainer here shortly. Also, if leveling up inscription doesn't require some of those higher level herbs, then we may be better suited. Research Midnight ink. We don't have Midnight ink. How do we make Midnight ink? Let's test this out here. Let's go to the trainer. I also don't know where the trainer is in Undercity. Clearly, I have no idea where I'm going any time of the day. So, sorry. But also, this Blood Elf looks so freaking good. The swords... This is a monk, by the way. The swords, the Silver Moon tabard, the OG starting zone red leather, which is just so clean. The shoulders that match. Okay, I think he's around here. That's a blacksmith. We're not on the right track, guys. We're really not. Let's pull out the Phoenix. Also, I love the Phoenix looks, and as much as Alar is cool, which I don't have Alar, so I'll need to farm it at one point, but as much as Alar is a cool looking mount, the live looking ones, like the ones that look like they're alive, not just like some kind of flaming Phoenix, look so good. That guy's a book dealer. That guy's an archaeology trainer. It's in this ring somewhere. Can I fly down here? Oh, I can? That's crazy. I don't want to fly too fast because I'm going to end up screwing myself. Inscription trainer, there he is. There he is.
What do you
This is supplies, we want trainer. Midnight ink, okay. How do we make midnight ink? Tell me.
Embrace the shadow.
Dusky pigments? How do I know? This guy makes verdant pigments. What are dusky pigments? Mage Royal, Briarthorn, Swift Thistle, Bruiseweed. Let's mill them all. There's some duskies. Let's go. Oh, and some verdants coming out. Okay, let's just do them all. We're doing all of them. We're getting them all here. Ooh, the verdants are coming out strong. Okay, now I understand why we have the different herbs. I'm learning, guys. I'm getting this thing down. This is why we do this. This is fun. Okay, now let's take a look at the briar thorns. See how we're just like constantly getting materials, cycling them to our other characters, having them utilize them for something cool. Nothing is wasted in this challenge. Every single item is a opportunity for a new collectible, a new craft. Obviously, we haven't really done a lot of the crafting recently, but we got some more alabaster, so let's just go hard on the alabaster ink, and we're going to switch over to the midnight ink, and then we're going to research some Moonglow vibes and research some midnight vibes. I think this is going to be a good little grind that we're on here. I believe that we'll be able to craft cheetah form from the midnight ink research, so I'm really excited for that. Lots of inks we're crafting here. Tons of inks. These are worth a pretty penny. This is actually kind of a good gold grind, I feel like. Okay, dusky pigs. Let's craft them up. Housing. Everyone can screw off on the housing stuff. Brill coffins. There's a lot in here, guys. 23 midnight inks remain. We've got ourselves to level 80. We're gonna need a lot of vellum. This character has a lot more gold, 8,900 gold. Of course, they do sell our transmog, so that makes sense. The reason why I have this character selling our transmogs is because the herb to inscription, like back and forth, is a very low inventory suck. We need a lot of parchment. You got parchment?
Speak quickly.
Yeah, we just need parchment. Come on, brother. I've never collected this staff before. Cool. How much parchment do you need when all is said and done? Let's try that. Do some research. Lots of scrolls. Maybe we can't learn anything from this anymore. Do we want to just create a bunch of finishing powder for levels? No. We want to learn how to create more glyphs. There's Glyph of the Skelly. glyph of winged vengeance. Wow, we're really getting. I wonder what the chances to learn a new craft are. Let's look it up. Unlearned. Jadefire ink, Lion's ink, Celestial ink. Like here's Glyph of the Cheetah, Shimmering ink. Okay, so I think we learned everything we could have learned off the rip. Foul Menagerie sells pretty well. Let's just create one of each of these. I know Glyph of Stars sells. Oh, I just learned Lion's Ink. Okay. I guess we could just do one more of each. Like creating these glyphs just give us levels, so it's part of why we're doing it. Okay, let's talk to our trainer. So we're capable of crafting from Lion's Ink now. The Hunter's Ink is the verdant pigments, which is very important, I think. I missed out on the opportunity of getting levels out of these inks, but it's fine. Not the end of the world, right, guys? But there's no usage of this for researching assorted glyphs, just for the use in the mysterious tarot card grind. We also haven't collected this tome. So this is also apparently worth money for some freaking reason. So now we're not out here collecting tomes, but we don't really have any other use for this. So I say we just craft these 2 tomes. One for me and one for Dupree. And we sell it. So there's that. We'll sell the tome and then we'll go back to our trainer, make sure there's nothing we missed. Nope, nothing we missed here. Now let's go back to the auction house. We're going to post some of these other items for sale.
I'm out of range.
And then we'll be good on our inscriptions. We haven't touched alchemy yet, but I think that's fine. I think if we focus on inscription to 300 first, then we can pivot to alchemy after that. Let's go to our groups. And let's add the glyphs and the tome. Okay. There we go. The Mystic Tome worth 1,000 gold. The Lynx Steak recipe also 1,000 gold. These glyphs not worth as much, but still a little bit of extra income coming in. Next, we will go to our blacksmithing character, our rogue. Our rogue, Silver Shoes, has been very underutilized. I don't think we have even learned blacksmithing on him yet. I may be wrong. I may be misremembering. But he's here, ready to craft, just like everyone else. Lots of weapons. Our goal is to get weapons crafted through him, of course, because we need them. Why he's here and not in Stormwind, I couldn't tell you. So we have engineering and blacksmithing. We do have some blacksmith craft on here. Okay, good. Love to see that. Are Are there any weapons that we have not collected? Tons of weapons we haven't collected on this guy. All right, we suck.
How
Off
are you?
to Stormwind. Here we go. He is only level 6. He cannot fly. He's the only one of these characters that is incapable of doing so. Actually, maybe the Demon Hunter. I don't know, actually. We'll do some of these blacksmith and engineering crafts, and then we will call it a day for today. I think we've been very successful this morning. We've had a lot of fun. It's been more of a chill day. I do know that. I recognize that maybe we haven't been doing any of those cool, like, rare grinds where there's some cool, exciting drops that we like to see. Not as much dopamine coming. I went on a little bit of a rant there in the middle, just about finding joy the right way. So apologies. Maybe you learned something from it, or maybe you hate my guts for it. Whatever. But we're going to get some of this blacksmithing and engineering done. I will say, as a profession, I think we all have kind of like a favorite profession, or like, it's kind of how I felt about Rogue for a really long time as a class. The fantasy of the class outweighs the joy I get from playing the class. And the same thing with professions. Whenever I like have a main character, I'm always like, oh, this character's gonna be the character I level all my professions up in. Now, granted, in modern WoW, leveling your professions in the current expansion is not easy. You gotta like do a bunch of crafts. It's really expensive. Yada yada yada. There's like all those talent trees associated with it. Like if you're a crafter, WoW's kind of your spot, because the crafting at endgame is like super profitable. Like there's specializations within each profession. It's crazy. Engineering is the one. Engineering and jewel crafting, but usually engineering, are the one where I'm like, I'm gonna have engineering maxed out. And then I never do it. I never do it. Okay, so first things first, let's open up our warband bank. And let's get these bars out of here. Bars. Boom. We got the bars. Do we need anything else? We might need some light leather. Just keep an eye on it. Okay. So, what are we crafting today? Well, first of all, we're going to craft all the weapons we don't have. I'm not as much worried about the two-handers, but the dagger, these not being collected is really
What's on your
embarrassing for
mind?
us. So let's go with some weak flux. Get a bunch of it.
Watch your
Let's
back.
get to crafting here. We'll go with we need a blacksmithing hammer. That's probably why we haven't done this.
I've the finest wares in the land.
Thanks.
Off with you.
Yep. Okay. So, the mace. Really not in a good position here. Really looking rough. Let's do this the right way. If we're gonna RP, we're gonna RP. There we go. Look at us. Get the short sword. The dagger. There it is. Okay. Now, why? There we go. I don't know why that wasn't there. Okay. Now,
How are you?
to learn these, we're going to sell them. Boom. Learned and sold.
Watch your back.
Now, we can make a lot of grinding stones for a lot of levels. Nice. And then we can get some new items maybe. Oh, that's gonna be a waste because we're gonna need this for the rune gloves, worth dog duty. These pants would be worth something. Rough grinding stones, I believe, are purchased. They're purchasable. Let's craft this. Copper claymore. Could be a good sale piece there. We need fine thread. Oh, we can make a bunch of belts. Let's make a bunch of belts here. Bunch of belts for a bunch of levels, boys. Get ourselves to 80. There we go. Rune copper gloves. They're not worth shit. Okay. Let's talk to our blacksmithing trainer. Where's our blacksmithing trainer? You're in here somewhere. There you are.
How are you?
Therum Deep Forge. Alright. Gots to get on these. Oh, we're just broke. Okay. That's not good. Where's my war bank? Because I'm pretty sure I have gold in here that we could like take out. Yeah, that's good. Let's withdraw the 300 gold from this. Glad we were able to do that. Red steel bracers. Okay. Now we're gonna be able to learn all the recipes you want and still have enough left over in the future to we don't care about Cataclysm. We want these. Okay. So runed copper belt. We're gonna craft heavy copper maul, thick war axe. Don't have any silver for those, but the runed copper belts are good. So let's craft 10 of these. They don't sell for shit, but we can disenchant them. I need 2 of them for a quest. That will give us a plan. That's kind of cool. We'll keep 2 of them. Do you have anything more for us?
For you?
Copper bracers. Yeah, give it to us. Yeah, there we go. Do we need these for anything? No, that's kind of sick that we were able to find that all the things tells you that, because I would have never known. So we're gonna get to 100 blacksmithing here. Huge for us. Rough bronze boots, heavy copper broadsword. And skeleton key. I think I have medium leather in my. I'm gonna sell. I do. I think I have enough medium leather for this. Oh, wait a minute. It's pulling from our. Wait, is it pulling from our war bank? Do we not need these items on our character to craft? That's crazy. This thing might have some value, this heavy copper broadsword, so I'm gonna craft it at some point. Rough bronze boots. We haven't gotten to bronze yet, but bronze is on the menu eventually. Let's get as much as we can out of our copper by doing these copper belts. And also, all of these greens we can disenchant on our disenchanter. Since they're not worth anything. Do you have anything else to teach us? You do. The big bronze knife, which we will eventually, of course, craft because we are bronze. We are a knife crew here, and that's what we do. Rough bronze legs. Okay, so we're up at the bronze stage.
Keep your feet on the
Now,
ground.
let's go back to our bank. And the problem with the bank that I've noticed is that if you're not careful, when you add things to the bank, they will disorganize themselves very quickly. So let's add only the green ones. To the bank. This will sell. These will attempt to sell one of. Just for a little gold. These will sell back to the vendor. And those we'll use for the quest. Okay. So. Now.
I need to get closer.
What can I get for you today?
Do you sell anything that might be worth my while? hardened iron sword. Yeah, I'm gonna take that. Okay. We're gonna sell all this back to you because we couldn't frankly care less. Keeping the medium leather, of course, and proceeding.
Off with
Okay.
ya.
So there is an auction house down this way. We are going to sell those items. The ruined copper belt, the copper bracers. No. The copper claymore. That's not an auction house. That's a bank. There they are again. Gotta get those cheap streamers. Okay. Let's run a post scan. Look at that. Some cheap, okay, we did something on accident. We need to cancel the auctions for the two of the belts. Two of the belts need canceled because we need them. Let's see if those two came
I'm
out.
out
or
of
if I
range.
did one. Nope, okay. We got all the mail. Perfect. All right. So, to close out today, we'll be on a little bit of a different character, Silver Shoes the Blacksmith. But what we were able to accomplish today is, one, we determined that Moonglade is more of a cataclysm zone in terms of its quests and things that we need to achieve, so we'll hold off on that until we get through the main vanilla zones. We entered into Azure Mist Isle, which I guess you could say that that's a Burning Crusade zone. What are you doing? But I'm going to argue that it's not. In fact, I'm going to argue that it's a little bit more retro than the other zones because it is Burning Crusade and the other ones are Cataclysm updated. But we're in Blood Mist Isle. We've been helping cleanse some of the local wildlife. We've determined that the pirates on Odysseus' Landing, I don't even think that's how you pronounce it, but he's based off Odysseus, so we'll take it. Odysseus' Landing, it was betrayed by Spark Overgrind. We're helping with the Naga problem, and we are learning to speak Gnarlpine Furbolg, which is a really cool journey. We haven't really had any major wins on the rare item front yet. We have learned some recipes. We've learned some cool appearances for some basic lower level classic items associated with professions and vendors. But all in all, we've had a nice chill morning, a couple good hours of grinding and just working on some things together. I hope you have enjoyed the journey so far, and now that we're back and set up, I hope we can continue on this together. Look forward to seeing you again soon. I hope you have a great rest of your day.